Welcome to the 5th module in the certification course for the True Tilt Profile Self-Assessment. After this opening slide, you'll hear the introduction to the connection tilt pattern, and I'll be speaking as if you've taken the profile and your result is connection, the cross-pollinator. Once again, we wanted you to hear it this way so that you can listen for each of the patterns in yourself and realize that you're not just one, but all 4 of the tilt patterns in different measures. At the end, you'll have a few questions to test your knowledge, so be sure you take a few notes again. Hi, this is Pam, founder of Tilt365. I'd like to welcome you to our short overview of the connection tilt pattern that we playfully nicknamed the cross-pollinator. If you've taken the True Tilt profile and it said this is your primary pattern, then let's see how much you resonate with what we say here about this character style, which is one of several in the tilt family. First, notice that we use playful characters because we think all of us could benefit from taking ourselves a little less seriously. For example, notice the attitude of this character, which can reveal clues about how you tend to operate. As the cross-pollinator, you probably love to put the pieces of the puzzle together by making connections. You're usually very approachable, and thus we gave you the biggest smile too. Your green color is because you're prone to saying yes quite a lot. A really nice trait unless you don't balance it with an ability to say no sometimes too. First, notice where the connection tilt sits on the Tilt365 whole person framework. We call it whole person because everyone actually has some of all 4 of these patterns in us. But one of them is usually more predominant and a favorite strategy for how you operate in the world. And one of the ways we can quickly identify your preference is by noticing which of these 4 questions intrigue you most. If your natural pattern is the connection tilt, then you are most interested in the who more than the what, why, or how. What this means is that your attention is on people more than anything else. Who you know, who has what, and who is most of interest to you. Well, pretty much everyone. Indeed, your focus is on the humanistic side of things, and you're quite the optimist as well. With highly tuned emotional intuition, you are sensitive and cheerfully resilient. Very little can get you down for long. In fact, your powerful social networks are always there to cheer you up on a bad day. People invigorate and inspire you most of the time. The more the merrier when you're at your best, right? As the cross-pollinator, one of your favorite pastimes is to focus on connecting people and ideas, and you do this very well because you also have a natural intuition for reading other people's emotions and inclinations. You know how to lean into their needs to give them precisely what they appear to want. Keenly interested in sharing ideas, you love to connect people so they can spread their own ideas too, and will readily offer your network to make the introductions. Your top strengths are openness, which makes you someone keenly interested in learning, likability, which makes you very approachable. In fact, you're one of those people who've never met a stranger, so falling into a deep conversation on a plane, for example, is quite natural and easy for you. Your third strength is consideration, which simply means that you are compassionate, empathetic, and exceptionally forgiving of others, and don't expect anyone to be perfect. Indeed, you might even love them for their differences and uniqueness. Lastly, you are often inspiring for others because of your inexhaustible energy and positive attitude. Over 2 decades of research, we've been asking others like you a long list of questions, and here's a short list. You are motivated by being with other people, socializing, and storytelling. You're demotivated by anything that restricts your freedom. Your pace is quick, spontaneous, and unplanned. You want freedom and kindness from others. You offer them in return a generous acceptance of their differences. Your top emotions may be experienced as joy and laughter when times are good, but also perhaps guilt and shame for betraying yourself by being what others want instead of being your true self. And the self-reported worst trait you might identify with is a judgment that you're not quite disciplined about tasks that seem kind of boring. Indeed, your motto for life might be something like, So many ideas, so many people, so little time. You want to be involved in everything and with everyone, so you might have some trouble saying no, and as a result, may end up feeling overcommitted when social demands pile up on you. In the moment, you may think you can do everything, but end up underestimating the difficulties involved in actually executing all of your varied interests and ideas. Yes, you're a great starter, but finishing is another matter altogether unless you've really worked on this. So what happens is that you end up committed to saying yes to too many people and too many ideas, so your calendar becomes overbooked and you end up with too many balls in the air. The stress reaction is then experienced as complete overwhelm, which can end up causing confusion for others who still expect you to be open and approachable. If this sounds like you, then here's the good news. We can teach you how to make the two most important moves that will balance your inner core and reduce the experience of stress in your life and work. The mantra that will bring you into balance is to learn to be wise, which means to hone more practical discernment skills, and to be bold by learning your assertiveness rights instead of trying to please everyone in your wide network. You can still create the playful and spontaneous climate that you crave, but will do so with the calm and presence of your higher self. When you begin to trust this larger, more expansive version of yourself, you start to tame what we call the inner hack that creates inner conflict and eventually outer drama with others too. As this unfolds over time, you begin to morph into the fifth character style in the Tilt family, the positive influencer, again indicated by the blue character here. When you become agile in all four Tilt patterns, the result is to become more centered, and you can therefore protect yourself with better discernment and due diligence before trusting everything will just work out without doing your homework first. As your best cross-pollinator traits come into balance, you become more decisive, clear, consistent, and disciplined. Exactly what others need from you in order to be at their best too. You will still have your favorite traits and strengths, but they don't get you into trouble anymore by overusing them. Why? Because on the inside, you've become more bold and more wise. So that's it. Now that you've listened to the module on the connection tilt, the next thing to do is read the sample report in its entirety. Notice this tilt's shadow, notice its two mantras that help move you in the right direction toward that shadow, and plan a discussion for your pairs if you have a pairing partner. Then write down your questions about this tilt pattern for the discussion group.